Alright, good morning guys. So we're back at the farm again. We're doing a full fluid service for this tractor today, besides the coolant. Every other fluid, hydraulic, motor oil, axle oil, and everything else in between. Anything that has oil and a filter we're changing out today. We got the army of all the fluids out here. We're not going to be using all of this transmission hydraulic oil. We're probably only going to be using about 3 of the 2 gallons. The 2-gallon pails, so 3 of them. So about 6 gallons is what I'm expecting to be drained out of here, but we'll get to it when we get to it. So customer also wanted me to take out the battery for them, as this tractor has been needing to be jumped multiple times just to get started. So bad battery, we're going to go ahead and take that out for them. So we need to take off the hood bracket, is what it looks like. So just a couple 10 mils, get that out the way. Alright, after taking the hood latches out, go ahead, got that battery popped off, pretty damn easy. You might want to lower your hydraulic arms to make better access for that, but I'm keeping them up so it gives me better clearance for the filters later. So you win, you lose. Nice thing is about these tractors, you kind of have enough space to wiggle underneath anyway. So this tiny little area right here, that's for our oil pan. So this is our drain plug. You got your filter right there. I've already gotten it a little bit loose with a wrench. This is the original first ever service. So from what I've seen online with these RKs, if this is their first ever 50-hour service, almost all of these bolts are going to be Gorilla tight, so I'm not even giving it the chance. I'm not going to stress about it. Make sure before you crack that drain plug you actually have your oil cap at least cracked open so air could come in. Nice good flow. Oil's pretty dark, but it's looking pretty clean, especially for a first service. Sometimes you expect a little bit more metallic, but this is a good thing. So, alright, so as we can see, I got the manual pulled up. Go ahead for engine oil, 10W40, and it's looking about 3.2 quarts. Liters, quarts, they're pretty damn close to each other. So, and if you're doing this for you or somebody else, this oil filter isn't in the best spot, so no matter what, it's going to make a mess and drip over things. So just make sure you got some brake clean to clean up everything afterwards. So we got a replacement oil filter, and I've never smelt an oil filter before, but when I tell you, this thing smells so fucking good. I don't know, kind of crazy, but oil filter. It's a little hard to do on the side mount oil filters. Typically, if an oil filter is underneath, I like to pre-fill these. But what we're going to do is we'll put a little bit inside so the filter absorbs it, but not enough that it actually has like full liquid on here so it won't spill when we drop out. And then we apply a little bit of oil to that O-ring there, so when we tighten it, it's all nice and sealed and it won't damage the O-ring. Always clean up your oil filter surface before mounting. I have the O-ring oiled up. There is a little bit of oil in there so she won't have a dry start. And we just go ahead and screw the filter on. Perfect. She's threading right on perfect, so you know it's the right filter. Hello, good job. Let's go Amazon. People didn't lie about the part numbers. All right. These RK tractors, they're a little bit funky with their part numbers. They kind of have their own thing, and there isn't much online. There is a good bit online if you dig deep enough, but for actually finding stuff. So what I'm going to be going ahead and doing for this guy, and I'll probably publish this online as well, I'm going to make a WIC standard part list for any like AutoZone, NAPA Gold, and or just WIC standard part numbers so everybody has it for these RK tractors. This is a RK37, so it's going to be for that, and I think the 35s are all the same, but everything else, no telling, but we'll have that. So because this is the only oil drain pan that I got these buckets. So for all the oil, every oil change, I'm putting all that in there. That way I could get more oil out of this. Because everything in this tractor will easily overflow that little thing. Alright, so our axle oil fill is there. And our axle oil drain is right there. Come on, focus for me. There we go. Perfect. So very easy. This one actually contains a lot more fluid than you think. It contains more than the actual engine. Your front axle contains about 2 gallons of oil, so be ready for that, alright? So this one was tight as hell. I ended up needing to get it adjustable and putting like a bar on it to actually get it loose. So expect that to be super tight. Alright, so as the axle oil is still draining, it's draining kind of slowly. The tractor isn't perfectly level, so I'm sure there's more oil built up on this side versus the other side that's probably empty already. So I'm just trying to let it naturally get out as much as it can. In the meantime, I'm doing all the fuel filters. You got your normal fuel filter, then your fuel water separator filter. This one was insanely tight, so expect that. I had to grip hard as hell with this wrench. It might be better to have one of the ones that ratchet tighter over time. Anyway, you could tell like it was gripping hard as hell, it was slipping and everything, but I got it loose. I did have to spray like a little bit of PB Blaster on it to help me, but keep an eye out for that. Alright, we got the new fuel filter on. I'm going to fill the axle oil. Honestly, I've already drained that pail. Not much came out. I'd say maybe like 3-4 quarts. Definitely nowhere near a gallon, nowhere near 5 quarts or anything like that. It said 2 gallons, but what drained out wasn't that. So we're just gonna fill it in slowly and keep checking with the dipstick that's built into the cap until it shows up on dipstick. So, all right, we got the axle oil, the front axle oil topped up. Now we're gonna go ahead and take care of the fuel water separator filter, and then all we got left is transmission. This tractor will be nice and fresh. Yeah, guys. So the normal fuel filter, when I took that one off, it was fine. In all reality, but this water to air one is disgusting. It's actually gross. Inside this thing there's like shmoo, bro. Like, what even is that? Like, that was literally in this the whole time. Disgusting. Definitely change that, guys. Also, for you guys looking to take that out, you're going to want to undo that hose, that rubber hose that goes into there. You actually don't need to loosen the little inline strainer filter, whatever that is. You just gotta drop that line and you can pull the clear thing out and pull the filter out. As always, compare your old and new filters. Make sure they're actually the same, physically compatible and whatnot. Our kit came with some new O-rings, so we'll make use of them. That large O-ring goes around the cap there. Unfortunately, yeah, man, that thing is gross. There's like stuff in there, man. I don't even know what that is. Unfortunately, I have no clue what that little O-ring is for. It didn't come out anywhere, and when I felt inside, I can't see inside, but when I felt inside, I didn't see anything. Yeah. I didn't see anything for that O-ring there, so that could be like a universal thing to fit with something else, perhaps, but it seems like we don't need it today. I cleaned the inside of that out with some brake clean. We're gonna go ahead and get the new O-ring on and pop her back in. Alright, got that back in there. The filter is clicked in. Put that little strainer line right there. We're gonna turn this back to on. Up. And you're gonna want to make sure this right here is your bleeder screw. You're gonna want to make sure that's open a bit. So once we're ready to run the tractor again, we can it basically like primes the system, and once it's actually full, fuel will start coming out of there, and that's when you'll just close that little nut back up. Alright guys, so as we get underneath the tractor, we have our drain plug right there, and then right here where you have this hose, in between it is a little strainer filter. This specific RK37 is called the SCUTTLESHIFT, so there is no spin-on oil filter. If this is a hydrostatic model, your oil filter spin-on is like somewhere around here-ish. I believe it's typically like right there or like right there. I'm not 100% sure, but if you're running a SCUTTLESHIFT, there is no oil filter here. I accidentally ordered a filter for this, so I'm gonna have to return that, but there is no filter. The only filter for the transmission is the inline strainer here. To take this one out, we actually need to remove this cross member here. So you can see there's some bolts there, and then just a couple bolts here. We're gonna need a wrench and a socket to do both sides, but once we drop the support member here, we'll be able to have full access to unbolt this and pull it straight out, and we'll be able to get that strainer out. So let's go ahead and get to it. Let's drain the transmission first. Alright, so step one, go ahead, crack open your transmission fill. That way we can have air, so the drain will be nice and smooth. Step two, get yourself a 22mm socket, pop it right on. I got mine on a pipe just to give me extension, but honestly, it ain't that tight, so you might not even need it. And go ahead, let that drain. I actually didn't let it drain yet. I'm gonna go ahead and get this pipe out the way first before I go to drain it. Figure it'll be easier to get all that stuff out the way and work around it, and then let it drain rather than trying to work around the oil straining. Alright guys, so we got the bar out, it's just 3 bolts there, then the 2 right there that are vertical, and this whole beam just comes right out. Make sure it doesn't land on your face when you're dropping it. And now we could take these 2 bolts out to get our hydraulic oil strainer. But this we're going to want to do after we drain it. So drain this first, then we'll take this one out. So I just had to drain this. There's still so much flowing out of this, and this got filled. So I just dumped it into that. That bucket's damn near full after doing the axle oil, the motor oil, and the first pass of the transmission. So if you guys only have like one little pail like me, this one's a 10 quart. If you guys only have one like me, definitely get yourself some buckets. Gonna need it for something like this. Okay, so this bitch still has fluid coming out of it, and I've already filled these 2 buckets up. Like, this isn't even fully empty, neither. I'm gonna drain whatever left I can fit in this, but besides that, I mean, yo, dude, what is this? Alright, they weren't kidding. Literally 10 gallons drained out of that system, dude. This is the plug. It's a magnetic plug. You can see there's a bit of material on there, so it's a good thing that we're doing this. Even though the fluid itself was pretty damn clean, it was clear, it was looking really good. You see how much metallic is in it. That's why these 50-hour service intervals for a brand new machine exist. It's expected for brand new machinery to have metal particulate in it. That's normal, but it's important that we actually do the fluid change at the proper interval. So, yeah, 10 gallons, damn near to the T. You can see she's just trickling out now. But, yeah, make sure you guys, for one, have enough fluid, but also have enough storage for the old fluid. Alright, get that plug back in as tight as we can physically do it. We're going to go ahead and look for what socket that might be. I'm going to guess a 14. Let's see. Yep, on the money. Alright, so we got 2 14s here. And I don't think we take the hose off. I think we could just unbolt the 14s. And yeah, there's nothing else mounting the pipe. Just another flex hose up there. So once we get those 14s off, we should be able to back this pipe off and be able to clean the strainer. They recommended in the manual clean the strainer with diesel, so you could use diesel. I might just use brake clean and let it clean off because I don't have a easy way to pour diesel over top of it. But hey, also real quick, you could loosen this up, but you actually still don't have enough flex to pull it all the way out. So we are going to need to pull this hose off. So loosen up your hose clamp. No need to undo it completely. Just loosen it and then leave the bolts in so you can pull the hose off like so. And you'll have enough to go ahead and pull that out. And then you could pull this out separately, completely off. So it wasn't enough. But I noticed that there's that little mounting bolt right there that holds this pipe to the rest of the chassis and the transmission and whatnot. So you're going to have to loosen that. It's kind of a pain to get a socket in there. I couldn't get a deep because of there, and then a shallow wasn't enough. Just like with the power tools that we're trying to use. It's funky, but a wrench fits in there, so you could just use a wrench. Alright guys, this is the strainer filter. This thing is long as hell. It's also really dirty. So I do not skip that, even though it seems like a little bit of work just dropping that pipe. It's really not all that much, and it is worth it because you see all that. That's what kills engines and transmissions, people. Yeah, guys, the condition of this one is like really bad. If possible, if you could find it online, I would probably just buy a new one. In all reality, I don't have one, so I'm gonna try to take like an old toothbrush or some soft brush and slowly clean all that gunk out of it. The brake clean like wasn't even strong enough. If I had my air compressor hooked up, I could probably like blow all that shit out. But as of right now, this is what we're dealing with. So, all right, guys. Got the 14 backs on, got the hose clamp back on, make sure everything's nice and tight. Got the pipe bracket back on, give her a nice shake, the whole tractor should be moving. That's how we want it. So all we need left is that little rear end support, mount that back up, and then we just top her up with fluid. But guys, we're in the home stretch. So it was impossible to see through that sight glass. I mean, the transmission fluid is relatively clear, but I was watching it like a hawkeye after the fourth one. So it's 2468. That's 8 gallons. This thing calls for like 9 to almost 10, right? As I'm filling in the ninth one, I never saw that fluid level go up. So we're gonna go ahead and control the hydraulics and make sure everything works and have all the fluid cycle through, and just go from there. And there we go. All the hydraulics are working. She's running. No leaks. So this is just a quick little recording after the fact. I didn't record anything after that clip. I had the tractor operator go ahead, run all the hydraulics, make sure the front loader is running as well as the rear. Everything was operating normally. Make sure you shift and row through all the gears. Make sure you're going through every single gear, going back and forth between all the gears. That because this transmission fluid is shared between the hydraulics, so make sure you're doing everything with the hydraulic system. Trying to bleed any of the air out of the system. Once all that's done, man, just make sure your transmission fill cap is empty, or closed, not empty, closed, and enjoy the new tractor. And the operator was telling me it was running much better than how it was before, and just from that, I mean, maintenance is key, right? So hope you guys learned something from this.